Okay, y'all, good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday morning, day before Thanksgiving. I hope everybody is doing what they want to do, right, on holiday. I consider this a holiday too. Not that really a holiday or any other day is any different for me. The thing about a holiday, a day off, or whatever people want to call it, it's a holiday in my world, and the definition of a holiday in my world, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, is I get to do whatever I want to do, right? I just happen to want to go make money. I mean, I don't know, man, what everybody else does, and I'm not knocking nobody for wanting to sit on the couch and spend time with their family and all. But I'm at an age now where all the little ones are gone, well, that's kind of where it's at. I'll be going out of town at some point, but I don't really talk about going out of town, and I don't post videos while I'm out of town, because there's a lot of shady folks that hate on me that are around here, and they'll come do some vandalism or some stupid shit and catch a case behind nothing. So I don't advertise or talk about going out of town on video until I'm back from out of town. So yeah, just FYI. There's a lot of weirdos out here in YouTube land, and y'all should know that by the comments you guys see that I get. So I got one guy coming in the comments, and he's saying, maybe I'll put the comment up just because it's a slow news day. He's saying, I've been out here 50 years working in the heat and the sun, and I'm too dumb to scale a business. Look, y'all, I'll be honest, man. I gave up the dream of scaling a business after about year 6 or so. I'm just saying, if you want to know the truth. Of course, when I started the business, I had dreams and aspirations of the business being, growing the business and having 5 or 6 trucks, and of course, I didn't know anything then either. So that's just what they were, dreams. Number one thing, the reason why I did that, after about 5 or 6 years, well, number one, I was a little bit too old to be starting and scaling a business like this, right? And the times were really hard back then when I started this business, because I came from an office job to out here. So times were, there was a lot of unknowns, and I didn't know anything. I mean, there's no shame in that. You have to learn, and just like I tell the guys that work for me, you got to learn, man, and you don't learn in a month or two on how to do this and make top dollar. Now, I know, and I say it all the damn time, I know there's folks out there that cut Pawpaw's grass when they was coming up, and now they lawn maintenance, landscape pros, but you're not. Because Pawpaw ain't gonna hold you to a standard. So Pawpaw's just gonna be grateful that you did it and he didn't have to. So yeah, and if you mess something up, Pawpaw's not gonna, fire you over it, or you're not gonna, it's not gonna cost you. So, the notion that I don't know how to scale a business, well, I guess I don't, right? Because I never really tried. Like I said, after about a year, I guess it was, around year 6 or 7, that's when I started realizing that there wasn't going to be enough time left in my working career to scale the business, and based on what I know or what I knew then, right? Because you have to learn, and you can only learn by doing, and and you have to, meanwhile, I had to pay my bills too. So there wasn't a lot of time, when I started, to be thinking about you know, methodically thinking about scaling a business. Number one, I didn't know how. I didn't know anything about this kind of business because I'd never been in this kind of business. I'd always just worked for the man, you know, and I never even did lawn care maintenance work or any kind of landscape work at all, ever. So, and I was 35 when I started, so that kind of tells you, you know, now, well, I started when I was about 36. I got a business license after I was about 37, and I didn't really, you know anything. I mean, hell, I was so green out here and such a greenhorn out here that I didn't even buy my first set of hedge trimmers until year 4. Yeah, I wasn't even trimming bushes, and that's a big moneymaker out here. And there wasn't no YouTube, and there wasn't no Ray on YouTube to tell you that, you know. I didn't know what I didn't know. But of course, you know, when you start it and you start making a little bit of money and you're making, you know, back then, you know, making, I don't know, $300 or $400 a day, and you're profiting $250 a day, you know, well, you start thinking, damn, if I can do that, then I might be able to do this. And then you start thinking, well, man, if I could just, you know, blah, 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 you know, get another truck and yeah, all that, right? I didn't get a second truck until, well, I had a spare car sitting here. My wife got a new car, and we got the, well, I bought the Kia for my wife, the Kia that I sold to that loser dude. When I bought her that car, and we bought it in 2009, and it was a 2009 model, when I bought that car for her, I had her old car, which was a Buick Rendezvous or whatever, right? And it was just sitting here. And I ended up buying a rig for the, you know, a towing package for it, and had it all installed. And so then I could have a backup vehicle, if you will, right? I mean, that could pull a trailer. That's all I cared about. And then Zach was out here for a couple of summers, and so I would tell Zach, hey man, I'm gonna have you pull the little trailer, you know, with the Buick, right? And that's what he did. And the Buick had all kind of mechanical problems. You know, it run hot on you. It was, yeah. But it was really just a learning thing to get the second truck, the second vehicle going. Not truck, but it was a Rendezvous. Piece of junk vehicle, by the way, just FYI. So, you know, and that's how I started doing more, you know, 2 trucks or 2 vehicles. I had my truck, not this one, but the other F-250 I had. And then I had the Buick. And I would have Zach follow me around just like I do now. When he first started driving it, and then I was sending him to do, you know, certain properties where I could go do this one. I might just send him up the street. It wouldn't be like across town or nothing. And then, you know, that kind of thing. And that's how I realized, okay, I can do 2 trucks. And that's what made me buy the Chevy Silverado I had when Drew was out here. And then, you know, if you look at it, instead of just coming in the comments being stupid, if you look at it from stand back and look at it from a chronological event that happened along the way to get to today, you can see the moves that I made to be able to be comfortable with 2 trucks. I bought the Chevy Silverado. I got rid of that Buick, you know, but that Buick was, I don't even, what did I do with that Buick? I don't even know. I damn near gave it away. You know, I told somebody, give me $500, they could have it. And I had the title and everything, so Buick gone. And that's when I bought the Chevy Silverado off of a mechanic friend of mine. The little Silverado. And I got videos of of the whole process of me. Well, I think the first video I did, maybe I'll put an image up of the name of the video. It's the first video of me introducing myself, and I'm talking about the tools I got, and I'm talking about the plans. You know, I'm standing down there at my gate, and I'm looking at my old F-250, and I said I'm gonna buy another truck, which would be this truck, and I'm gonna replace, and I point up to on the hill to the Silverado 6-cylinder. I'm gonna replace that truck with my old F-250, and then this truck's gonna be my truck. So I knew that the Silverado, well, you know, pulling a trailer around every single day, I might start having problems with it, and I knew that I couldn't pull the skid steer around. And the goal is always, you know, the goal has always been for me to be able to pull the skid steer around with either vehicle that I have in the business. That was the #1 goal. It wasn't so much for the lawn maintenance, though. I mean, it come in real handy, but that and again, I didn't know anything. You know, when I started, I had no plans of scaling. I had dreams of scaling, but I didn't have a plan. I didn't know how to do that. I was just doing good to pay my bills. I was in survival mode. I wasn't living at home at mama's, and I wasn't, you know, paying rent to some little old lady to let me live in her spare bedroom. I was a homeowner. So I had to make my mortgage, my insurance, my taxes, all those things that I had to pay for while I'm learning and coming from nothing. So you got to look at where people start at to be able to really, you know, gauge where they should be. If I'd have been raised in this kind of business, my mom or my dad, my uncles, or anybody had this kind of business, and I worked for them when I was a teenager, then that would be totally different, right? I'd be a lot further along. Well, I would have started before I was 36. I would have. So, the hope and desire to scale ended when I was, when hell, I was, shoot, year 6 or so. That's when I decided that, well, if scale happens, it happens, but I'm not gonna focus on scale. All I'm gonna try to do is just try to make the most money in a minimal time. Same concept, same thing I live by right now. Ain't nothing changed, except for the equipment got a little bit better, and I got a little bit more knowledgeable, and then I got, you know, pretty knowledgeable about the game, right? About this business, this kind of business, the lawn maintenance business. And then I realized, oh, well, scaling up ain't what you want to do, right? You know, for me, but I was, what, 44 or whatever? It's too late in my life to be fooling around, because you couldn't, at 44 years old, you know, and you're starting to think about scaling a business that you started when you were 36 or 37. Well, you have to be thinking about, well, you got to pay your bills, right? And I realized real quick that scaling up was not in the cards for me, and due to my age, because there was no time to make mistakes. I couldn't make a 5-year mistake. See, you got to look at things like that when you're trying to, I don't know, come in the comments. I don't want to say judge me, but judge the business model, right? You got to look at where I came from. If you're not looking at that, then you're not getting the whole story. See, at 44 years old, there's no time to make a 5-year mistake. Now, if I was 21 or 22, or even 25, or even 30, I can make a mistake that would set me back 3 or 4 years, and it'd be okay, because I would learn from the mistake and I would be better for it. But when you're 44 and you got bills to pay, and you don't know how to scale a business, and you don't have any you know, mentors or anything in your life to show you how to do that or to give you tips, then you realize, and that's what I realized, that I couldn't make a big mistake. I couldn't afford to invest and jump out there with credit and everything to build a business that might not work, right? I might not be able to scale for whatever reason. And main reason being, well, I don't have no experience at it. And I had already built up by that point, I had already built up a pretty good lucrative little business, you know. And I was never thinking about anything but paying my bills and doing the next logical thing, all the things I talk about all the time. But I couldn't make a 5-year mistake. And then you throw in the labor problems, and I know everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people are going to come in the comments and say, well, the labor problems are your own fault, right? But you don't pay them enough, and you don't do this, and you don't do that, whatever. Well, the labor problems have been the labor problems ever since I started hiring labor. Again, I don't have no experience in hiring labor. So you see, one thing about when guys come in the comments at me and they're trying to undermine or trying to make me feel stupid or dumb or don't know anything, I'm okay with that, because at the end of the day, I didn't know anything. I don't know what I don't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. I was just trying to, again, just pay my bills. And so I had a little Bo out here helping me. Of course, Bo was a lot better then than he was, years later. And then I have a few guys out here, but I never had a plan to scale. Never. Not a plan. I had a dream in the very beginning, but that dream faded real quick when the reality of what this business is, it faded. And my temperament is not built like that. So for guys that come at me talking about you don't know how to scale a business, okay, right. I never really applied or tried to scale this business. Not as far as employees and 3 or 4 trucks or anything. My thing has always been, okay, if that happens, that happens. But there's no plan for it. And I don't know about this guy, whoever in the comments. I don't know what he knows about labor, but maybe some of you guys can come in the comments and tell him what the hell, because you guys that are really for real out here like I am, you guys know the labor problems. You guys know it. It doesn't matter what you're paying them. It doesn't matter anything. You guys know there's a high turnover in this game, unless you got, your family. And even then there's issues of family, son, brother, or cousin, or somebody working with you, and you guys started it together. But then there's usually problems in that too. There can only be one owner to me. A partnership in this game is not happening for me. It never was an option. I never even considered that, because I didn't want to make, I didn't want to have to get approval to make a call, right? And maybe that was one of the reasons why I couldn't learn to scale. But I never reached out and tried to find a partner. I just kept paying my bills and kept doing the next logical thing. So to come at me talking about I don't even know how to scale a business, let me tell you something, man. And any of you guys that are really in business like I am, you guys know that we are of a different breed, right? We are of the mindset that we can do it whatever we put our mind to. If y'all want to call that cocky, call it whatever you want to. Doesn't matter. I know one thing, anything, and I'll say it one more time, anything that I've ever put my mind to, right, that I ever put my total focus, my total everything into, it was successful. I learned it. Now, success is, well, that's about perspective. What's success to you might not be success to me, and vice versa. So, but I've never attempted to do anything and give it my all and not, and not master it if I really would. That's what my goal was. If my goal was to scale this business, I would have gave it my all, and I probably would be well, at the end of the day, I didn't know how to do that. So giving my all to something that I don't know anything about is, well, that's ludicrous. When I got my, I got my bills to pay, right? All that stuff is still constant. That's still going. That's, and I don't have a 9-to-5 or a paycheck coming on Friday. See? So there's a lot of multiple avenues of schooling that I was having to learn as I was surviving, in the beginning of this business. One of the number one things I had to learn is how to be disciplined with my money. Because I was not very disciplined with my money before I started this business. I've always been pretty good with money, but I never made cash money like that working for the man. Working for the man, well, you work 2 weeks, you get a check. You work 2 weeks, you get a check. You work 2 weeks, you get a check. Well, out here, it's a totally different entity. You work you work a day, you get 5 checks, 6 checks. You work, and you can't spend that money just because you have it. So that was a whole nother schooling I had to go through, and self-taught everything. Ain't nobody taught me nothing out here except for the mistakes that I have made. So when you decide to come at a guy like me and you guys see the things I try to show you and I go through out here, and I'm showing you guys the good and the bad, you have to look at the perspective of, well, he started the business and he was 36 years old. And I'm not saying that you can't start a business at 36 and scale it, right? I'm not saying that. I know there's a lot of people that do, right? But a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times they got experience in growing a business already based on their 9-to-5 job they might have had, or whatever, working for the man or whatever. They might have been a lead crew on a landscape maintenance company or whatever. They might have been the head man. I don't know. I had no experience at all. I just know that the grass is green in the summertime. That's all I knew. So, when you come at me and tell me I don't know this and I don't know that, okay, you're not cutting me down. Because see, one thing about Ray is I can look in that mirror right there and I can say, you didn't know enough to scale. You didn't know enough to build a business. What the hell do you know about building a business when you work for the man your entire adult life, all the way up to you were 36 years old, and even as a teenager? I have no business class major or nothing. I mean, shit. It's survival. It's hustling. That's what it is. Call it whatever you want to. To me, it's hustling. And I've always been a pretty good hustler. Always. But when you come at me like that, I'm just going to agree with you, because I did not know how to scale a business. And in hindsight, as I'm sitting here today, right now, Thanksgiving 24, I can look back on everything that happened behind me and reflect, right? And I can tell you this, I've seen a lot of businesses in my time out here, 18 years in my time out here, scale up, start after me, scale up, and then go out of business and selling me their equipment and trying to get me to hire their guys because they are out of business. So, just because somebody scales up, that doesn't mean that they're going to make it. A lot of them don't, because of the issues that I foresaw, and I didn't have any experience. I foresaw it. I was scared of losing what little bit I had built up in 5 or 6 seasons out here. I didn't want to lose all of that depending on another employee, right? So just because you see a big business, and I'm not saying they're all like that, some of them are extremely good, they're extremely knowledgeable, they got general managers that really know what they're doing, they got systems in place, they got education, and they got a couple of good employees. Hey, I'm happy for them, because I don't hate on people. I'm happy for them. And but scaling was never for me. I realized that real quick. And like I said, I've seen businesses start after mine and they're out of business. More than one, more than two, more than five. Just in my area, where they couldn't keep the customers. People died and people moved, and they built the business based on what they did last summer. Only to find out when they go into the next summer, they weren't as good as they thought they were. And guys like me came right in there and unknowingly took their business. Because I'm steady, I'm easy to deal with. When it comes to customer acquisition, I'm pretty, I wasn't as good then as I am now, but I'm pretty good at dealing with customers now. And the thing about what's happened now as opposed to then is I'm not desperate for customers. I'm not. I just don't want to sit on the couch all day. So y'all see me doing stuff in the business every day. I mean, that's what the business is. That's what I do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. My mom's gone, so I don't spend any time with my mom anymore, right? My stepkids are grown and live out of state, so, I mean, and I see them on the holidays, and whenever they decide to, grace us with their presence. I don't want to sit on the couch and watch TV on a holiday. And for all you guys, gals and guys that are younger and your family is still alive, y'all, and you got all your cousins and everybody, y'all should cherish those moments. Y'all should take time off to play with your cousins and nieces and nephews and all that. But see, all mine are gone. The business is all of that to me. And I ain't trying to get all emotional or nothing. I'm just telling you the reality of where I'm at. And I'm just telling you guys that the holidays and everything, though, are I recognize them. And we do something on every holiday. It might not be on that holiday day, but it's usually, maybe a few days before the holiday or a few days after the holiday. And as your kids grow and your cousins grow, they become their own entity. They don't want to come to Ray's house anymore on Thanksgiving, because they live in Florida, or they live in Alabama, or they live in Tennessee, So for me the guys that come at me and tell me, man, you ain't nothing, you having to work, 8 days a week. If that's the case, then that's because that's what I want to do. The thing about it also, in that scenario where we're in the holidays and everything, is that once my mom passed, a lot of that luster for the holidays passed too. I'll be honest, because she was the center point for everything. And if you got your mom and dad still around, then kudos, right? I mean, I'm very happy that you do, and that you are seizing the moment. You better, you should. I want you to. I would. I did. So, but when you get a little bit older and mom and dad ain't around no more, and your cousins and your kids are trying to pay their own bills and have their own family, you know, then all these things are not as important as they were to you, or to, I can't say to you, but to me, as it was when I was, you know, in my 40s, right? And these days, I just had rather work, and we call it work, right? I mean, am I really, is it, I guess it's work. What's work? Huh? I know people associate work with, oh my God, I gotta go to work. Oh. But see, I don't associate it like that. I built a shop at my house, man. I do whatever I want to do. You know, going into the shop and, you know, welding on stuff and planning my time and all that. That's not like work. And I wish that guys that work for the man, nothing wrong with that. But if you work for the man, you never work for yourself, and you live, you know, paycheck to paycheck, holiday to holiday, vacation to vacation, you know, it's hard. It's very difficult for you to wrap your brain around what I do, because you're trying to associate what I do with what you do at your job that you hate, that you don't make nothing, that, you know, that the man, you ain't running nothing. I'm running shit. If I want to take a 2 weeks off, a month off, 6 months off, I could do that if I wanted to. But I don't want to. See? So that tells you that, well, a lot of guys think that tells them, well, I gotta work, that I can't afford to take no days off. But you're so wrong. I can. But okay, I take a day off, I take a week off. What am I gonna do? Huh? What am I gonna do? Well, you got kids under the age of 13. Well, you got plenty to do. I don't. If that makes sense, does that make sense? And I ain't asking nobody to feel sorry for me or nothing. I'm just saying that it's just not, I don't know, man, it's just not like work to me. And the best thing about all of this, right, is that I'm in control of everything. When I want to go out of town, I do. And I don't really, you know, well, I just don't look at things like work. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of times in the summer when we start getting to, you know, at the end of the grind, you know, when we start getting into August and September, that I'm, you know, getting burned out, as I'm sure all you real guys out there that are really in this kind of business, that I'm sure you guys feel the same. Now, you guys might be younger than me and have little kids and stuff, and you probably do take time to spend with your kids. I did. I worked for the man for years, so, you know, I would take time off when they told me I could take time off, you know. But see, when you're self-employed like I am, you take time off when you get ready, when I want to. And that's predicated on what my schedule looks like. That's predicated on what I need to do here, to do that, to get over to that. See? And that's how I think. It's not going to change. I'm not going to all of a sudden start taking 2 weeks off at Christmas and, you know, 2 weeks off at, you know, Halloween and or Thanksgiving or whatever. Hell, tomorrow's Thanksgiving Day, and we're going to be going out of town in a couple of weeks to spend Thanksgiving with the extended family. And so tomorrow, while a lot of you guys are spending time with your kids and, you know, spending time with your family, the way our family is spread out, you know, we get together usually not on the day of the holiday. So tomorrow, even though my wife's going to cook a little something for us, we'll hang out some in the morning time, and then I'll probably be up in the shop working on something because there's something to do. Now, a lot of you guys will say, damn, man, Ray, you don't never take no days off. Well, I'm at home in the building that I had built doing what I want to do. That's a holiday to me, doing what you want to do. So, anyway, I know this is getting kind of drawn out, and I didn't mean for it to be this long, but I just wanted to point out that I ain't tried to scale the business, bro. Just FYI. And I'm doing all right. I mean, I'm doing all right. So don't mistake me doing a little something every day as I'm broke, because that's the signal, a sign of true self-discipline, when you got money and you still striving to get more, and you're still striving to get things done to put you in a better spot to make more without any labor, or without any having to count on suspect labor. Because there ain't no labor been that right that I've seen. So and you know, and there's so much that you have to know about scaling a business that this guy obviously doesn't know about, because, well, he probably works at a warehouse somewhere making $15 an hour. You know, he probably, and I ain't a dig at nobody. I'm just saying, for you to come into my comments trying to tell me what I'm doing wrong, you might need to look in that ragged ass mirror. I'm just saying. Because I am very, very much in tune with my own shortcomings. Are you? Because I analyze things every day about how could I have done that different? How could I have handled that situation different? See, I'm constantly looking in that mirror. And well, I have to, in order for me to be able to keep going and not make the same mistakes twice, and learn from everything that I did yesterday and the last year and all that. You know, you got to learn from your mistakes out here. And I'm steady looking in the mirror at those mistakes. Trust that. And somehow, some way, it's panned out for me. Because I know a lot of guys that they ain't in business no more, that scaled, and they bought a skid steer, and they bought a big ass truck, and they ended up selling all that shit. And now they're working for the man. Well, they're trying to come and get a job with me. There was a time when I had guys calling me saying, man, I used to work for blah, 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 but he went out of business. And maybe I missed the opportunity to get a good employee that way. Maybe I did, because I already had guys. I don't sit around and wait on guys to go out of business and hope their guys call me for work. No, I'm steady going that way. It might not be as fast as they was going that way, but the end result is much better, because now they're back at home living with mama, and I'm still doing my thing. And they bought a skid steer, and they had to file bankruptcy, all kinds of crazy shit that I see out here. And I ain't had to do none of that. I'm just steady going that way, just steady as you can freaking be. And I'm not losing money. I'm not making decisions based on no knowledge. the decisions that I make in the business are based on things that I have learned from mistakes that I have made, not what somebody's telling me to do. You know, it's so stupid. The business is right where it should be. The numbers are great. If you looked at my numbers, if you looked at what I got going out every month and what I got coming in every month, you'd probably be pretty impressed with how I've kept my expenses down and how I manage my money and manage my equipment and everything. Doing all right, buddy. Are you? And I'm not doing all right because of I'm lucky. No, I don't believe in that shit. I make my own luck. Do you? So, yeah. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm going down here to do the 3 of my commercials because they're off work and they're empty. And I want to, you know, they're all, and they pay, one of them pays 110 and the other 2 pay 80 each. And I'll probably and they're only like a mile away. And they're empty, not empty properties, but they're closed today. One of them is a bed and breakfast, and I know there's nobody staying there, but they wanted me to take care of it before Thanksgiving. So I could do it tomorrow if I wanted to. I could put it off till next week if I wanted to. But I don't want to. I want to free my time. I want to go do some of this little menial stuff, right? And fill my day up today. Make you know, $300 or $400, and or $200 or $300, and so then next week I don't have to have labor out here, and then I make even more money because I got skid steer. I got 4 skid steer jobs lined up, and I did put a quote in for the pond thing out there. So we'll see what they say. Waiting on them, but ain't nobody gonna do anything before, you know, tomorrow. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end it right here, y'all. That's all I got today, man. Deuces.